Hello, welcome to the Ghana Agenda. My name is Alfred Amuzu. Today is October 29th, and today we are having a conversation with a very hardworking communication officer of the NDC. He's telling me, I'm looking at my phone, he's telling me he'll be with us in about 15 minutes. His network is really bad. So we'll start the conversation and then wait for him to join. But again, this is the Ghana Agenda. If it's the first time you're watching us, this is a political show. We talk about issues occurring in Ghana. We bring some of the best brains in both NDC and NPP to come and help deliberate on issues in Ghana. And this week, we just had so much going in our country. And I'm sure you'll be watching the news. I'm sure you know that the majority in Parliament has asked that the finance minister and his deputy be relieved of their duties because of the role they've both played in getting our economy to where it is currently. I know we are in negotiations with the IMF, but understanding is that we don't really espouse the confidence necessary to get that conversation or negotiation across the line. And this is the case because we had a finance minister who made it clear that going to the IMF was not a thing that he's interested in, was a bad thing to do. So how do you negotiate with such a person? Also, we have this issue of conflict of interest that we've pretty much talked about over the last, how many years? 4 or 5 years? Because here we have a Minister of Finance who is also an owner of an investment bank which is always at the forefront of all our loans that we have taken since the new or current administration came into power. And we're talking about some significant amounts of money here. The issue is the Minister of Finance and his deputies seem to always make money, or their companies make money whenever we go take loans, and that is being problematic. So many reputable people in our country have made comments about this issue. So it got to a point where it's not even the minority making a noise about getting them relief at this point. It's the majority. So people are saying there's mutiny in the NPP. We know the president is asking for patience with him so that he can complete the negotiations with the IMF and pass the budget before he acts on getting rid of him. But the conversation again, or other people are saying, why is that important? That these negotiations are a result of a teamwork. It is not that we have to necessarily have either Oduboahene or, in this case, the minister himself, which is Oforiatta, present for these negotiations to go through. We have technocrats, people in the Bank of Ghana, people in the Ministry of Finance who've been there for over several years. They've gone through similar projects year after year, and they can really do this job without necessarily involvement from the minister himself. So those are some of the things we'll be talking about. We also heard about the former president, John Dramani Mahama, talking to the media just a couple of days ago about ways to build the Ghana that we want. And so as I have a representative from the NDC with us today, those are some of the questions I'll be asking him. I would also be joined. So if you don't know Ako Gun, he is the Deputy Communications Officer, the Deputy Communications Officer of the NDC. Very smart, very intelligent guy, very well outspoken. He's been on the program a couple of times, and we'll be happy to have him today. We are waiting for him. He should be with us in a few minutes. In the meantime, we'll take a quick commercial break. Please share the link so that others can join. If you want to watch this show on YouTube, just go to YouTube/@GhanaAgenda.com. YouTube/@GhanaAgenda.com. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu. We will be back to discuss the issues table for today. Share the link so that others can also enjoy. We'll be right back.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Just one more pic, JJ, please.
Oh, Mama, really?
Smile. It's not every day my eldest son graduates.
I couldn't have done it without you.
All without Auntie Jane's generous support.
Here is to Auntie Jane's well-appreciated World Remit money transfers.
World Remit Corporation is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services, as a foreign transmittal agency by the Massachusetts Division of Banks, number FT 1179663, and licensed by the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, NMLS 1179663, Massachusetts Foreign Transmittal License, FT 1179663.
World Remit, a better way to send money. Download the app or visit worldremit.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. I think I do have my guest in the studio now. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him in so we can start the conversation. Please do me a favor, share the link so others can also join us and participate in this wonderful conversation that we're about to have with the communication officer, deputy communication officer of the NDC. Welcome to the show, my brother Ako Gun. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Oh, sorry to see you on the road. Are you getting home anytime soon?
It's been a while.
It has been a while. It has been a while.
Yes, we went for a program, an Adua in Kumasi.
Oh,
our regional organizer lost the father, the uncle, I should say. So we're just returning to Accra, and we are just close to Suhum.
Okay. So Suhum, that means at least about 1 hour time frame before you get home, right?
I ideally can leave.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
I know it looks like you are driving, and I'm worried about you driving and talking to me.
No, I'm not driving. I'm in the passenger seat.
Okay, perfect. Then we can have a conversation. I'll just keep you for 30 minutes because I know, you have so much demand on your time, especially within this period. So, well, few people know you because you've been here a couple of times, but others don't know you. I know you are very smart, hardworking spokesperson for the party, deputy communications officer. You're going for re-election, but tell people a little bit about you who may not know you, who the real Ako Gun is.
Okay, I'll say simply, Godwin Ako Gun is a dedicated young man to the Umbrella family.
Okay.
I've served a lot of roles. I am professionally, I am a project manager, and then I've been a constituency executive appointed to serve the region. And by luck, or I'll say by the doing of God, I have also served the communication department as a national deputy communications officer for 4 years. So basically, that has been my political journey. I have also been an assembly member serving the people of Okaikwe North, Niboy Town to be precise.
Oh, wow.
Another 4 years, exactly. So basically, I'll say in summary, that is my political ladder. And I said, the working of God, because last 4 years before God and man, I had no intentions of becoming a national officer.
Okay.
I had just lost my parliamentary primaries,
Mhm.
and then we're doing our normal communication duties for the party, communicating for the party in 2016,
Right.
and we had an issue, and then I think most of you recall Munti 3.
Correct.
So right after that, a lot of people encouraged me to officially take the position of a deputy national communication officer.
Right.
I put in a bid, and as God will have it to be, I was elected to serve in that office. And I never slept on my work. And by the sheer grace of God, when I announced about a week ago that I'm going for re-election, I can say that the number of endorsements and support I'm having, I feel proud of myself, and I hope that when God wills and I get a position again, I must do even better than I have already done.
Oh, interesting. So I'm also going to throw my support behind you.
Wow, I'm grateful.
So
Thank you very much.
whatever we can do on this show to make that a success, let us know, and we are ready to support in any way we can.
Thank you.
Let me also say that, of course, we recognize that the NDC has actually improved on its branding. Currently, it's well respected now. People are ready to vote for you. Would you say this is a result of the work you and Sami Jemfi did over the last 4 years?
I would say that we will not be so selfish in taking all the credit,
Okay.
because we have had a lot of volunteers who have also been superb.
Right.
And I can say that our colleagues as national officers also gave us all the support that we needed.
Right.
Every initiative that we came out with were never hindered. And sometimes there are things that we decided to do which had never been done before.
Okay.
For instance, going to the forest to have a press conference, going to the river banks to look at how devastating the water bodies are and having a press conference there. Those things were things that had never been done before.
Right.
However, people really gave us a chance that go and do it and let's see how it turns out to be. So basically, I would say that it comes from the support of everyone. And if you look at citizen journalists, where people can also go to various places and tell their own story, it means that the face of communication is changing.
Right.
And you can never hide anything. It takes honesty, hard work, and appreciating of everybody's effort.
All right. Seems we're having a little bit of a network issue there with our guest. Okay.
Yes, all came through. Yes, it's off now.
Right. No problem. So go ahead. You were telling about,
Yeah,
the support you
the
had.
communication now is not like before, where graphic comes out on Monday and it goes to Bumprugu Yo-Yo, it gets there as early as Wednesday. Today, information is right at everybody's doorsteps.
Yep.
So the approach has always been different.
Interesting. Wow. So you enjoy a lot of support. Everybody's working hard, and that is also showing up in the appreciation that the citizenry are showing towards the NDC, and of course it improves your chances of coming back into power in 2024. Now let me ask. So many issues have cropped up this week. We know the majority in this MPP had called for the resignation of the finance minister and his deputy. What is the party's position on this? Are you guys? I know there is also some motions being filed in Parliament, but what is the exact? Would you rather just go with the motion, or do you think you will leave it to the majority to deal with the president as they've already initiated?
Tackling this issue, I'll look at it in two folds.
Right.
first of all, let me say the parliament we have now, under the leadership of Alban Sumana Bagben, may go down in history as one of the best parliaments that we've ever had.
Okay.
We have had 137 ministers, members of parliament on both sides, with one independent one, though sitting with the majority. However, we've been able to have a speaker from the other side, that is the minority. This is unprecedented.
Right.
For the first time, we have also had majority members of parliament who are also pushing very hard for going against their own party. And you see, these are things that I can say are unprecedented.
Right.
And it takes boldness. And it is also going to change the face of our democracy.
Right.
And this one brings to mind our constitutional responsibilities. You realize that it was only 80 people who sided that the finance minister should be dropped.
Correct.
What happened to the rest of the members of parliament on the majority side?
Right.
Unfortunately, because they are appointees, they are ministers or appointees of the government, it will be suicidal. It will be suicidal for them to show their face, which simply means that behind the scenes, they are also in support of these 80 people.
Right.
So this constitutional mandate that a percentage of ministers must be appointed from parliament must be looked at.
Right.
The independence of the legislature can be better improved when ministers are not appointed from parliament, so that they will have a free role to do what the people want them to do.
Correct.
Because if they are not ministers, they are free to do and then take positions that will benefit their their constituents. And that is what we must also look at during the constitutional amendment. Secondly, let me also congratulate the Haruna Idrisu-led minority for their constant support.
All right. He's a busy man. I'm sure he's getting a call again, but we'll wait for him to come. So you've been hearing from the deputy communication.
Am I on now?
Yes, you are on. I think you had a call again. So anyway, go ahead. You're busy.
Okay.
Man. Yep.
You see, every decision that we take today, posterity is going to judge us.
Right.
That is why on the issue of the finance minister being sacked, we gave the opportunity of the executive that we are not going to hinder any decision that they take. You remember we had issues, or our supporters had issues with our members of parliament when they decided to pass all the ministers of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo.
Right.
Today, if we were able to block the finance minister from being appointed, and then the nation being in a deplorable state as it is today, what would have been the comment from the MPP? They would have said that it is because we didn't allow Ken to be minister. That is why things have gone this bad. So the blame would have been on us. But in the wisdom of the minority, they said that they are not going to do any appointments for the executive. So they should go ahead and then go and do their work. Especially when the president told us that he's busy or he's in a hurry.
Right.
So today, the chicken are coming home to roost. They are now siding with us that in fact, the finance minister is not as useful as they thought he would have been.
Right.
So that is not coming from us.
So,
but we will support them in pushing him out.
Right.
But for me, we must not sit down for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in his leisure time or pleasure to say that his finance minister should resign. We must put pressure for him to sack him. We cannot wait for these 3 weeks that he's asking for the IMF negotiation and all that. It wouldn't be in the interest of Ghana. You see, when it comes to economic matters, or let's say financial issues, every minute people are speculating. And today, the dollar, the exchange rate is about 16 Ghana cedis. And why should we wait till tomorrow or the next week for it to get to 20 Ghana cedis before we take action on it? In fact, the finance minister himself didn't have a belief in the IMF anyway. So if somebody doesn't believe that we need to go for an IMF bailout, how can the person negotiate well to benefit us? Because he will try as much as possible that things will not go well for him to say again, IMF is not the solution. But we know that in the situation in which we are, the only savior that we have is the IMF, not just to check us, but to also give us a little credibility for people to know the situation that we are in. And then if it's possible for us to have investors coming back to the country, then we know that we are moving on a good, with our best foot forward. So on the issue of the finance minister, the party supports his, for him to be sacked.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we are also joined by a couple of my colleagues. I have on in the studio Kojo DC, who is the organizer of MPP in the Washington DC area. We are joined by Lifetime Legacy, who also speaks for NDC, and Ato Komina Danso, Dr. Ato Komina Danso from the Chicago area. Let me go to Kojo DC and see if he has any question for you with regards to the finance minister. Kojo, you're on.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Ako Gun, first of all, we wish you all the best. Thank you for your position. This is your house. So all I could say is we wish you all the best that you can win. But concerning the finance minister, I don't really think I have any question for that. We'll side with our president. As of now, we have 3 weeks. So if anything that we can say, will be after the 3 weeks.
I lost you. I lost you.
Okay, he said he didn't hear what you said, so if you can say it again.
That's fine. Okay. No, I was just wishing you well. That's first of all. And then Alfred was asking if I have any question concerning the finance minister. And as an executive, I'm an organizer. I don't have anything to say. I am now standing with the president at the moment and the members of parliament, which is the majority side, which says that we should wait for the 3 weeks to come. From then we can speak to whatever decision that comes out. And then concerning the economy, tomorrow the president is also going to speak. We'll see, and then we'll go on from there. So I wish you all the best. Once you do your intra-party, then we'll come face-to-face with the inter-party, then we'll fight from there.
All right. Okay. All right. So let me see if... Lifetime Legacy, are you with us? Do you have anything to ask for the deputy spokesperson, deputy communication officer? Okay, Lifetime is having a little trouble. How about you, Dr. Ato?
Yeah, my question, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm losing you. Unfortunately, I'm losing you.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, his video is buffering a little bit. I think it's on the way, and of course, you know how the internet is in Ghana. But in any case, you've heard him actually made some submission. Any comments, questions on that? As it comes, we can repeat.
No, so I was going to ask if, because NDC has a lot of gurus in the party. So I was thinking that maybe Mahama would employ the services of Kabna Dufo, who was part of the who has been part of the monetary system in Ghana, and also Tepe, who I've listened to a lot. I really admire that man. So I was thinking, because we know Muhammad to be a communication expert.
Right.
So when you're talking about the economy, I expect of course, the gurus, although Mabaumia disappointed us, but I was expecting to hear from somebody like Kamna Dufour, although he may be trying to contest with him, but I'm thinking that would have been reaching a hand, like, hey, Kamna, do you have any ideas we can discuss as an NDC? But right now, the NDC should focus on just winning and not just personalities.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe employing the service of Kamna Dufour or employing the service of
I'm sure Kamna Dufour is going to play a role in the next administration. I think the question now is, should the MPP be trying to consult with people like him who have actually served in those capacities before for sort of a united solution to this? Because where we are now, we can use any idea, right? Because
Alfred, you and I know that in our country that doesn't happen. I mean, the only time it happened was when Kufuor reached out to Malam Issa to help with it, and that did not go well. And so I don't think in a situation, the reality is that it doesn't happen that the ruling government will reach out to the opposition for any kind of help.
I think we actually even did Senchi conference before where the NDC reached out to the opposition.
I know, but the Senchi conference, it wasn't just the opposition, it was just, I mean, if the MPP reaches out to the NDC for help, look at the optics. You and I know that it would, although the NDC may have the solutions to Ghana's problem, I don't think the MPP will reach out to NDC for help. I don't think that's going to happen, although it will be a right thing to do if they have solutions.
All right. We have Ako Gun back. You had your question for him, so if you want to ask again about, I think you were talking about something about Kamna Dufour.
Yeah, I was thinking, we know how much the communication expert, and he's really good at that. So I was thinking that NDC would employ services of Kamna Dufour, the Tepe, to come and at least give us an insight about them. But I didn't see that in that forum, so I'm asking why that didn't happen.
So you were saying the last engagement Muhammad did with the media, where he talked about, which is going to be our next topic anyway, building the Ghana we want. You thought he should have brought economics like Kamna Dufour to address the people. Okay.
Yeah.
So why didn't that happen?
Yes.
Okay. That's the question for you. So why didn't we get economics to come and address the nation during Muhammad's last media availability?
I think last today's program at UPSA, we first had Honorable Atufo Sen, who is a ranking member of finance, to speak, even before His Excellency John Dramani Mahama spoke.
Right.
So it was just two speakers before His Excellency spoke. So, and Atufo Sen is also an economist, so it serves that purpose.
Right. And he was the former Deputy Minister of Finance, correct?
Yes. It's also the former Finance Minister.
I hope my brother is not trying to equate Atufo Sen to the level of, say, Kamna Dufour or, say, to Tepe.
You said you had wanted to listen to Kamna Dufour.
No, that's not
what I said.
No, my question was, are you trying to equate Atufo Sen to Kamna Dufour or, say, to Tepe?
I think Atufo Sen is pretty good too. But anyway, I'll let him answer.
Yeah, but you see, we wouldn't say we are comparing the two. As we speak today, our members of parliament are the ones leading our charge, apart from the national executives. And they are also seeing this day-to-day figures that are before them. So you cannot have somebody speaking who has not had, yes, we all appreciate the experience of Kamna Dufour being one of the longest serving finance ministers we've ever had in Ghana. But as we speak now, what will he be speaking? Or let's say when he's speaking, is he speaking as a flag bearer, hopeful, or as a former finance minister? Because if we are talking of former finance ministers, the one that immediately passed was Tepe. You understand? But because of the work that the members of parliament on the finance committee are doing. The head of that team is Dr. Atto Forsen, and that is why he presented it. And he is also doing it on behalf of parliament. So let's get that picture. It's not a typical NDC event. It is the reality that we have it as of today.
All right.
And all that comes to them. So we couldn't have had anybody better than that. That is why sometimes you have Adongo presenting it, sometimes you have Atto Forsen doing it.
All right.
So it is not the normal politics as usual. We'll get to that point too.
Okay.
Alfred, can I come in for?
Thank you so much. I was going to bring in a lifetime legacy, but if you have anything quickly.
No, I just wanted to say, you see, there's a friction. So what it is this is the old guys and the new guys. So the Atto Forsens are the new guys. So they're taking the Dufours and all those people out. This is just an interest of some individuals. It's not about coming to power to do anything better. Trust me. This is just an interest of a peculiar people, which is the people who are in the former president circles, and they still want to maintain that status quo.
And I agree with
That's
you.
what I see.
I agree with you, Kojo, because I mean I respect Ako Gunn's submissions, but if you're talking about Komnadofo has been at the past, stuff like that, and Tepe has been, and someone is in that doesn't hold water. But again, I respect his.
Yeah, I mean, let's give him the platform to actually make his presentation as he wishes, and then once it's on weekend politics.
Of course.
No, you can't just let people make their wishes and move. This is politics. They should be answering questions.
Kojo, don't make me put you on silence now.
Kindly forgive me because we are in transit.
No problem.
We are in transit, so I keep losing you guys.
No problem. Yeah, so we are also joined by Lifetime Legacy and Dr. Lawrence of Washington, D.C. NDC chapter. Dr. Lawrence is also aspiring for the chairmanship position of the Washington, D.C. chapter of NDC. Let me ask Lifetime Legacy if he has any comment or question for you, then we will come to Dr. Lawrence. So Dr. Lawrence, stand by for me. Lifetime Legacy, quickly, do you have any questions? Do it in 30 seconds so we can continue with the conversation.
Alfred, thank you so much. My greetings to all the panelists and also our viewers and listeners. Ako Gun is my boss. I related well to him when I was the youth organizer for my West constituency.
All right.
So he's somebody I have really known closely. I have met a couple of times when he was seeking to contest for Greater Accra Regional position before later I went to the national. Right. So he's somebody I really I have that close distance with. I wasn't surprised he won his last election.
Okay.
Monitoring him from afar, he have distinguished himself in office. I don't have any question for him. Okay. I see the current the communication department, which he is involved. It's very solid now than we used to have. Okay. And I'll congratulate him for the good job they have done over the last 4 years by making sure the MPP, I mean, they have become a nightmare for the MPP, most especially his boss. So okay. I will encourage him to continue the good work they are doing. And victory for me.
Thank you.
I want him in the coming election.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me bring in Ako Gun again. Ako Gun. So the other question I have for you before I bring in Dr. Lawrence is this: that we heard the former president John Dramani Mahama made his presentation a couple of days ago about building a better Ghana. What are the key messages that he tried to communicate that you want to leave us with or expatiate on?
I'm losing you guys again.
Okay. So I was asking during the former president's presentation.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, so I think we are having network. If you can hear me, just make comments so I can see if you are connected. Let me know if you can hear me, please.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can I have the question again, please?
Yeah, so I was asking, what were some of the key messages?
Yes, I can hear you now.
What were some of the key messages the former president was trying to discuss the other day in his media availability? Oh my God, I think we lost him again. Let me bring Dr. Lawrence on. Dr. Lawrence, welcome to the show. It's been a long time.
Thank you very much. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing wonderful. So we've been talking to Ako Gun, and he talked about the fact that getting rid of the finance minister was something that they had proposed during the vetting, when he was going through the vetting for the second term of the president. But if they had succeeded, then the president would have said, yeah, because you didn't give me the finance minister I wanted, that is why you didn't, he didn't succeed. Since Ako Gun is having trouble with his internet, he's back.
Hey, senior. I can see Oliver.
Yeah, I see. So Dr. Lawrence is on, but Dr. Lawrence, do you have any comments, questions for Ako Gun before we continue?
Comrade, good afternoon or good evening in Ghana.
Why do you bring this propaganda man? This man is a propaganda man too much.
Hold your fire. All right, I think we're having some network. So go ahead, Dr. Lawrence.
Yeah, Ako Gun, like Lifetime Legacy said, Ako Gun is also my boss, and some of us knew that once he won the position as the deputy communication officer, he was going to work tirelessly with his boss Sami Gemfi. And like Lifetime Legacy said, they have brought a new hope and a new dimension to the communication sector. And some of us really appreciate what they are doing in Ghana. And I wished he would have gone unopposed, so that at least we can be sure that we have that solid team going into the election 2024. But it may be some people want to contest him, but I wish him all the best. And I know that with God on our side, he will sail through to continue with his good work and continue with whatever good work Sami Gemfi is doing or will do into the 2024 election. But one thing that I want to put across to him is that when he wins the elections and they are having any workshops, any fora, any meetings, or something like that, they don't have to do it with only the people in Ghana. They should extend the invitation to we in the diaspora, especially we in the communication.
He's not on now, so I want you to hold on to that when he comes. Let him know that, because
he's gone.
Yeah, he dropped off briefly. I believe his network is bothering him. So, I would want to wait for him to hear that question from you or that comment from you. But Dr. Lawrence,
let me say that. Let me introduce myself again to the many audience who are listening to you, especially from the Washington metro area.
Absolutely.
That I want to contest for the chairmanship position of the NDC Washington Metro branch.
Okay.
Because I think the Washington Metro branch needs a new leadership and new thinking and new everything.
Okay.
And I think I am best suited for that position. Our current chairman has been there 4 years. I can't say he didn't do anything, but his performance isn't good enough. We need a new leader. We need a new direction. And we want, that is, if I say we, my team and I want a new face in the Washington metro area where we will be respected both in the US and in Ghana. NDC USA lost NDC Washington Metro lost its face and its power in Ghana and in USA and then in USA. And some of us 4 years ago thought that by electing Prince to that position, he was going to bring us back to where we were some years ago.
Since Prince is not here to defend himself on the things you are saying, can I politely ask that?
No. I'm selling myself. I'm not talking about.
But you are
just
talking about his performance now.
No, I don't care whether he's here or not. It's the same story, and I'm just trying to let the viewers know that Prince has been the chairman for 4 years. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. That's why I'm coming. I mean, he doesn't need to be here to defend himself.
So I want to say that with all due respect, let's hold the portion where he didn't do anything, because he's not here. He's not here to. He's not here to give us.
Listen.
It will sound a little.
Yeah. I didn't say Prince didn't do anything. I said his best wasn't good enough. That means he did something, but his something wasn't good enough. Okay, let me leave our Prince out of it.
Leave Prince out of it.
But I'm just trying to let viewers know that we need a new leader. We need a new direction. We want the NDC Washington Metro to take back its good cloth,
right,
and cover ourselves with that good cloth. We want us to be strong and powerful again in Ghana and in USA. And I think I am the best fitted for that job. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's bring back our guest, Ako Gun, as he joins us again. Thanks for sticking with us, Mr. Ako Gun. I know your internet is not the best. Oh my God, I think we lost him again. But if you can hear me, he's frozen, so I'm sure he can hear me. All right, let's continue with the program. We'll keep tracking with him as he's in and out. Unfortunately, that is the state of play in Ghana. All right, guys. So we've all heard also the former president made comments the other day about how he wants to, build a better Ghana. So let me take it from the NDC people first. Lifetime, I don't know if you're still there. Otherwise, I will defer to Dr. Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence, you've heard. Okay, Lifetime is here. So let's go to Lifetime and then we'll come back to you, Dr. Lawrence. What did you hear from the former president that encouraged you?
Alfred, thank you once again for the opportunity. I think continuously our folks in the MPP have a mantra that they used to sing anytime the NDC member from the NDC speak to make a suggestion or criticize them. They are quick to ask a question that, what is your solution or what is your alternative? So for me, what really made me so happy that the former president did not just outline the challenges we have, but he went ahead to provide a solution, not the solution just limited to the government, but he went as far as to also admonish we the citizenry that we should change our lifestyle and our behavior towards our appetite, which can also in a large way go to resolve some of the challenges we are facing. And there's no way I can fully agree with everything he said. In Ghana, we decided that we are going to make sure we revive our poultry industry. We help our rice farmers to produce rice that we need. Even if we are to reduce the importation by 60%, that will go a long way to reduce the pressure on our city.
But 60%.
You also mentioned of
traders. How are we gonna get there? I mean, if you reduce it by 2% for now. I mean, 60.
I think we could have been there by now if our folks in the MPP had continued the human rights project started by Rollins. Okay, so the problem we have is that a government starts something, another government comes, and then they try to rubbish everything that their predecessor have done. So just imagine that under Rollins, the human rights project, if during the Kufuor era, they decided that regardless of whatever problem or malfeasance is associated with the project, they will still look at the positive aspects of it and decided to improve it. By now, would have been somewhere. Okay, if at that time to now, our production will be 20% of our demand, it would have been better that we don't have it at all now.
Okay.
You get it? And he also mentioned of sugar importation. And I think it's one of the areas which is also putting pressure on our city. And the last but not the least, the importation of finished products. Whilst we have the oil refinery under the mercy of the weather, and workers over 600 over there are being paid every month for absolutely no work done. So those are some of the things that if we decide to be conscious enough, channel our hard-won resources, hard-earned resources there, and become so much conscious that, hey, this is what we want to do to keep our city solid over the next or in the next 5 years. If we are able to focus on those sectors of the economy, I think we can do that. And I am looking forward where the incoming president, 2025, John Dramani Mahama, will come and continue the good work he started, implement some of the things he mentioned as a means of suggestion to this government. And if all those are done, the importations will reduce, the pressure on our currency will also go down, and that will help alleviate the economic suffering our people are going through. So we are only waiting for the Savior to come and redeem us.
All right. Perfect. I want to take the NDC folks first so that then, the MPP people can come in, and I'm sure they have a huge rebuttal for all the things that you guys are saying, especially with the sugar. I know Kojo is waiting for that one. Let me go to Dr. Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence, I know you usually release articles, so I'm waiting on your next article on this one, summarizing what you've heard from the former president's expectations, and some solutions to the current predicament that we find ourselves in. What are the key messages that you've heard that gives you comfort?
Well, again, let me take this opportunity to thank all your viewers and your listeners. In fact, the former president spoke at length, and he touched on almost, if not all, the problems that we have in Ghana.
Right.
And he offered solutions. As a matter of fact, one of the solutions he offered was that the finance minister should be sacked. And I mean, I don't need to tell you that this finance minister is the worst finance minister we've had since 1957. The worst finance minister. That. So, I mean, he called for his head. Fortunately, unfortunately, the MPP MPs in Parliament are also calling for his head, and the NDC MPs in Parliament are also calling for his head.
Right.
Now, of course, apart from the MPP MPs, apart from the NDC MPs, apart from President Mahama, who called his head long time ago, and the NDC also calling for his head, and then there is this MPP group, AFAC. AFAC has also called for his head long time ago. But Alfred, the sad thing about the whole thing about Ken Oforiatta is that the president is still keeping him in there.
Right.
And the only thing I can say right now, which my article will be coming tomorrow on it, is that Nana Akufo-Addo is sacrificing the whole country for his family.
Right.
Nana Akufo-Addo is sacrificing the whole Ghana for his family. Because, Alfred, come to think about it, the way the finance minister is embattled, what good thing do you think he can do for the people of Ghana?
Right.
I mean, what do you think he can do from the Ministry of Finance? Nana Akufo-Addo is sacrificing the country for his family, and he told the MPP MPs that they should hold on for 3 weeks for the IMF negotiations to be complete. and for Oforiatta to go to Parliament and present his budget. And at the time he will be presenting his budget, the
I think that sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
Say it again.
It sounds reasonable, right? Because you look at it, he's in the middle of negotiation and preparing the budgets.
No.
Why would you want to get rid of him?
If you are thinking like Nana Akufo-Addo, you think it's reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, if you are thinking like Nana Akufo-Addo, you think it's reasonable. But you see, Alfred, how can somebody who didn't have trust and faith in the IMF in the first place says that we will not go to IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow because we are a foreign country, we have the resources, we have the men, we have the managerial, we have the capacity to manage our own affairs. And then at the end of the day, Ghana goes to IMF.
Right.
And this same person who didn't believe in IMF, is leading the team to IMF.
Right.
Now he's embattled. People want him out. And the president, the only excuse and reason the president will give is that give him 3 more months and 3 more weeks to finish with the IMF negotiations.
And then
do we know, Alfred, do you know when the IMF negotiations is going to complete?
No, I don't.
And who in Ghana knows how long the IMF negotiations is going to complete? And what we know is that it can go as far as for 12 months. It can go as far as for 12 months.
But he said 3 weeks, right? Oh.
Don't mind that old man. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right.
And so one of the things that President Mahama talked about was that the finance minister should go. The other thing he talked about is for the government to reduce its expenditure drastically.
Okay.
Because there are so many things in his government that he's spending on that we definitely don't need it. And that is also part of the reasons why there is so much pressure on the cedi and the dollar.
Right.
And that is why the cedi is 15, 16 cedis to $1 today as we speak. And finally, for other people to come in, one of the things that President Mahama talked about is that the military should be loyal to the constitution. And the reason the president said that
important that he would have to say, because it almost sounds like it's a given, right? The military is not agitating anything. They've been pretty loyal for the last 30 years or so. And so why should the concern be that the military is likely to now want to be loyal going forward?
Because the situation we find ourselves in today is worse than the situation we found ourselves in 1979 when Rawlings took over the governance of Ghana,
right,
through a coup d'etat. The situation we find ourselves today is far worse than the time Rawlings took over in 1979.
Right.
So if the situation is far worse than in 1979, then the only thing we have to do now is to pray and appeal to the military to be loyal to the constitution.
Right.
That is all we can do. Because as you and I are speaking today, we don't know what is going on at the barracks. We don't know who is planning what.
Right.
So the only thing we have to do is to pray and call on the military to be loyal to the constitution. And that is exactly what President Mahama called for. And when he did that, you saw the standing ovation he got.
Right.
Because the situation, I mean, right now, the MPP cannot even defend their government. The MPP cannot defend the situation right now. And so all we got to do is to pray and hope that there wouldn't be any military intervention, because President Mahama has just 2 years to wait at the sideline, and then he will become president in 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your explanation of the issues that were presented by the former president in his media availability. I don't know if Kojo is available for me, but Ato, Kojo, are you able to?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
come in. So I don't know if you had the opportunity to listen to the former president. If you have you heard anything that's...
Alfred, can I say something before Kojo speaks?
Okay, sure. I mean, you can come in, Kojo, if you don't mind.
Kojo, just a second. Kojo,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just commenting about the way you would think that you're making all the money from NPP. The way the government is doing, and Kojo with the glasses and the hats and the way he's... That's all I want to say before he speaks.
And his camera is very clear too, so something is going good, you know.
Oh, Dr. Ato. I thought you're on my side every day. Anyway, thank you guys. Greetings to you all, Dr. Ato, lifetime legacy. My friend that I can call a friend, Dr. Lawrence himself. Doc, how's everything? Okay. So concerning the former president's presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me start with where Dr. Lawrence ended it, which I agree with the former president in terms of the military standing with the Constitution or defending the Constitution. I think I'm 100% in agreement with him. The only problem I have is that it's the same person who is preaching this was the same person that was defending somebody who advocate for a coup, and that is where my worry is. So it doesn't give you
Who advocated for the coup that he defended?
What's the name? The name is Bamapo or something. What's the name? The guy who is in court now. Yes. The former president was defending
the Vamawa thing again. We got to be careful with that, right? Because
I am not saying anything about the courts. I just made a passing.
No, I'm not saying.
So
I'm not saying about the courts. I'm saying that what Vamawa said, whether that constitutes an advocation for coup, is not established, right? So we also, and depending on what
I haven't said somebody is guilty of anything. I'm just making my comments. So, like you said, Ako Gun can make his comment and move on. So let me move on. Okay. All right. So I disagree in terms of the former president. Listen, if Lifetime Legacy have disagreed with the former president, by this time I'll be jumping out of my car. There's nothing that Lifetime Legacy or Dr. Lawrence is going to differ from the former president. Whatever he says is unlike our party, which is the NPP. We can stand and speak our mind without being victimized in any way, shape, or form. So that's the thing. So let me go first of all. When it comes to rice, Lifetime Legacy was saying something about Aveime. Yes, it's true. Before came, we did the investigation. People were punished for whatever they did. But the NDC was in power for 8 years. Why didn't they do that? They even chose to go to Commander Sugar Factory, where I don't know how, like I said, even in opposition, they are still exhibiting the incompetency of it. Where you went there, build a factory, when even it wasn't ready, bought sugar from Mokola and produced that you're producing sugar. So let me ask you, Alfred, of all the things the former president, which I was able to listen to, what haven't you heard since you grown up from Ghana that these are the things that we're supposed to do? We all have heard exactly the things. I'm not saying what he said is wrong, no. But we've heard it from both politicians, my MPP, the NDC. The former president was in government and till 2017 when he left. When I say in government, I'm starting from the 1992, the Fourth Republic Constitution that came into being. He was a member of parliament, he was a minister, he became a vice president, he became a president. He couldn't bring any of what he's saying now. How can Ghanaians believe that he's going to be able to do this? Especially at the same person, right? Who is saying the economy is collapsed? We understand. How is he going to do it? Because you guys are saying, oh, he prefers some solution. Somebody should give me one solution. Apart from cutting, we all heard about cutting our expenditures. We know that when I was like, 12 years old? We know about corruption. We know about the public sector, a lot of corruption. He been saying that even when he was a president. So what is going to be different when he becomes president, especially when at the same time he said, you can't change Ghana within 4 or 8 years. So how is he going to change that thing in 4 years? So I need more on this. By the end of the day, I don't believe that Ghana is in a dying position. Yes, things are hard. I agree with that. But we are better off other than other countries. But the president is going to speak tomorrow. We'll see what he brings out. By the end of the day, when it comes to the finances of our country or the economy, we all know things are bad. Besides being bad, we know the fundamentals of the economy of Ghana is bad. Even the former president even said it, which is we have to get out from this old business of raw material producing country and then head on to manufacturing, which we have started. I don't think it's large enough, but Rome was not built in a day. If any government should come into power, likely when the NDC come, they shouldn't come and collapse almost 126 that is working now. They should add more to it, and that will be the only solution that we can get out.
Okay.
Out of it.
Awesome.
Concerning what the former president said, before I end, concerning what the former president about the taking advantage of the oil sector. The oil refining under the NDC, it was shut down under the NDC. Why? Because people think when they go out and do refinery outside and bring it, they'll make more money. That's why they didn't even take care of them. Because when we were living in power in 2009, the Ghana refinery was working. They came into power, it was working under the former president at the Mills. Under the former president, John Mahama, it was shut down for people's interests. So
that can never be true. My brother Kwejo, that can never be true. In fact, under Mahama, we refine part of our food that we produce in Ghana.
Lifetime legacy, take your notes and then when you come in, you can rebut.
Under the NDC, under the former president, is when the oil refinery was shut down. So, yes, we need all those things to be done. It's easier said than done. And the political will of any of these politicians, when they stand in front of us and speak, they speak like, oh, we can do it. But once they come into government, everything changes. And I don't see the political will on that side of the former president be able to do this. If it's coming from any other person, I would say yes. But the former president, he has been in power for a very long. He has tested all the things in terms of being able to change things, our course of our country. But he has proven otherwise. So for me, it's good to hear those lectures, but not from him. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me bring in my doctor, Dr. Ato Kominadanso. Doc, I don't know if you've heard the former president, but everybody seemed to give you a little, tidbit here about what he said. But if you listen to him yourself, right? Did you come out of that speech with any comforts that okay, hope is on the horizon or help is on the way at some point?
I mean, yes. I mean, if you are down and someone tries to give you a helping hand, I mean, you of course have some sense of comfort.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the reality? What is the reality?
The reality is we are in trouble.
We are in trouble. We are in trouble. But I know Mahama has been in government before. Like I said, I was actually hoping that one of those gurus in NDC, like I said, I respect Sektepe really well. I listen to him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he has a interview, I listen to him. And I respect Abnado for the fact that he has also been in government. He's been in the Bank of Ghana for a long time. And also disappointed not seeing those individuals on the platform speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Although I can understand Dufour is trying to contest the president. So maybe it could be a rival. I mean, when he said, I mean, if you fight I agree that the man needs to go. I mean, Furata needs to go. But like I said, he didn't fire Manu Manu didn't go.
Mhm.
Of all the Manu did, he didn't go. So do you think he'll fire his blood relation? No, he will not. Unless Oforiatta agrees to resign, then Akufo-Addo would not fire Oforiatta. It won't happen. Like I said before, it is the way our political system is run in Ghana. Like that, if Alfred wants to go contest for MP, he would contact me somewhere if I become a millionaire and tell me, hey, my brother, if you give me X amount of money, I win, I'll give you something. So imagine a situation where in Ghana where we have Akufo-Addo and he has a cousin or a blood relation who's in the banking business, who supported him for 3 consecutive elections.
Finance the campaign, pretty much.
Yes. Bank rolling a campaign and then winning and then making this guy, I mean, a center point of everything. Would you fire me if that was the situation? So our foundation is already broken to the extent that it's difficult to make some of these decisions. Otherwise, he would have fired Manu a long time ago with all these Russian vaccines and stuff like that. I mean, listening to Mahama gave me a sense of hope.
Right.
But the reality is that Mahama has been in government, and it was funny the way my brother Lifetime was talking about the sugar factory. Sugar, you want us to go to Commander? You want us to go see what happened over there when we had journalists carrying bags of sugar, but then there was nothing went on. And some of these loans, I don't know if Lifetime knows about this. Some of these loans we get from all these United States, it comes with string tax. The US will tell you, I'm going to give you this amount of money, but you have to import X amount of maize into your country. So it's like you have to be
your president, Nana Akufo-Addo, had delivered a speech almost like a year ago or so that Commander would be up and running in about some 6 months, and it's been more than 1 year. So the blame can really be.
You know me.
It is going to be commissioned by the end of next month. Just
take your notes.
99%. No, I'm just happiness. 99% completed.
Yeah, because
I'm not defending the person. But what I'm saying is that being self-reliant also means not going out for loans, because some of these loans we take come with catches like, if I give you X amount of money, you have to import. That's what the US does. The US exports a lot of maize to Ghana.
Okay.
So being self-reliant comes with growing and refining your stuff. You cannot just go for a loan or go and think that everything will go on. But in a nutshell, he gave me comfort. But if I think about it, I'm like, the same Mahama that we Ghanaians booted some 6 years ago. What else would he come to do? So in the nutshell, that was how I felt listening to it.
So great that you had that perspective, because you think you do have some comforts coming from Mahama, but again, at the same time, this is somebody you already experienced. So like, it's nothing new. Let me go to Dr. Lawrence here. Dr. Lawrence.
Yeah.
When people complain about Oforiatta, I'm like, you are talking about an employee or somebody who works for the president. Why don't you ask the president himself to resign? Because I think he is a supervisor of the policies that have been rolled out, and the Minister of Finance. This is not, the Minister of Finance wouldn't take a decision without his approval. So if those decisions are going wrong, why do you blame the Minister of Finance and not the top? Why are we not asking for the president himself to resign?
Yeah, Alfred, thank you for that question.
Right.
Do you know what happened in UK?
Yeah.
People wanted the head of the prime minister,
right?
But they thought that it would be better if they kick off one of her legs, and if he cannot stand on 2 legs, she herself will go.
Right.
And that was what happened in UK. They wanted the head of the prime minister, but before they get to the head of the prime minister, they have to kick out the finance minister.
How does that compare to what is going on in Ghana?
Say it again.
How does that compare to what is going on in Ghana?
Yes. if I should finish.
Okay.
Once they succeeded in kicking out Kwaku Kwarteng, who was the finance minister, it became easier to kick out the prime minister, and that was exactly what happened. Now in Ghana, we are going to do the same thing. Let us first kick out the finance. I mean, do you know why Nana Akufo-Addo keeps holding on to Ken Ofori-Atta? Do you know why?
I don't. Please let me tell.
Because Ken Ofori-Atta is one of his legs, and he knows if Ken Ofori-Atta is gone, he is also gone. Because Ken Ofori-Atta knows where they have stolen and kept all the money. So if Ken Ofori-Atta goes, chances are that the next person who is coming might not be able to go with Akufo-Addo to steal more monies and hide it at a place he wouldn't be able to see.
So that's a very wild accusation over there, because you are accusing the president of stealing money, and I mean, there's no evidence to that. So we might want to be careful with that, right? Without any evidence,
Alfred,
approve of such language, right? Let's say their policies haven't worked, and it's taking the economy to where we currently are. But the accusation of stealing is a crime.
Why?
We can't do that.
Do you know why MPP keeps talking about all the good things they have done, and yet the country is not going on well? Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because they are stealing all the money.
Yeah, but I'm saying again that, you know, when you make this you are making an accusation of a crime, right, on another person, right? Without
my goodness,
showing any evidence. If there was stealing, I mean, what is the evidence? Where's your evidence?
So where is the 400 billion cedis they have borrowed? Where is it all at?
They will use it to pay down our domestic debt.
So why is the debt still high?
Because they borrow new money, and it's in dollars, and it keeps going up. The dollar changes every time the dollar goes up.
Okay. Do you know what? Let me not waste time on that. So what I am saying is that Ghanaians know that the third leg of Nana Akufo-Addo is the finance minister, who happens to be his cousin,
right? And
for that matter, it's a family affair between the presidency and the finance ministry.
Okay.
So what some of us have thought is that if we kick Nana Akufo-Addo out, Ghanaians might have sympathy with the party MPP. And for that matter, chances are that in the next election 2024, they might vote for, some people might vote for MPP because of sympathy. But if we allow them to go out slowly and painfully, Ghanaians will know the harm they cause to the country. And so there wouldn't be that sympathy vote for the MPP.
So why? Okay, so let me ask, and so when you wanna have them exit painfully, right? Those are your words.
And slowly.
And wouldn't that reflect on the Ghanaian? Wouldn't that exacerbate the suffering of the Ghanaian? Why would you want to intentionally cause pain to the people you want to vote you back into power?
No. You got me wrong. The pain is not on the people of Ghana. The pain is on the family of Nana Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta. That is the pain. Because listen, if we succeed, we means Ghanaians. If Ghanaians succeed in getting Ken Ofori-Atta out, and Nana Akufo-Addo sees that he has no breath to breathe in, he has no capacity to run the country again. He has lost confidence in the people. Do you know that right now, anywhere Nana Akufo-Addo goes, he is booted at? Do you know that?
In some places, yes.
Yes.
Not everywhere.
So we want Nana Akufo-Addo to come to the realization that he is no more needed and wanted as the president of the Republic of Ghana. So he will painfully and slowly leave the presidency. And that is where Ghanaians are going to know the harm they caused to the country. And so there wouldn't be any sympathy vote for the NPP.
A legitimate president who's been elected, of course, we are trying to get your guy elected as well. You want to have him leave painfully in what manner? What I'm not getting is that, I mean, whether you like him or not, he's the president. You know what I mean? So we should be supportive of our president, whether he's from our party or he's from the opposition party. We should be supporting him, because when we support him, you know, and his policies, and advise him where his policies are wrong to change those, then we are building a country together. But if we deliberately are trying to have him painfully exit, then I don't think we are doing justice to, I don't think we should even be complaining when our country is not developing, because we are the very people who are, you know, plotting the defeat of our country. We should be supportive of our, you know, political leaders, whether they are part of our party or not, right?
Alfred, don't you, as you're sitting there, don't you think if Nana Akufo-Addo were to be rational, he would have resigned by now? Don't you see that?
I don't think so. I don't think he should resign. I don't think he should resign.
That is why I'm saying we want him to leave painfully. Do you understand? And we want him to leave slowly. He sees the exit door opening slowly, and then when he sees the exit door opening slowly, then he gets out of it.
Right.
But if we open the exit door quickly and widely right now, he would find an excuse to stay. And that is what he is doing with Ken Ofori-Atta. He's finding an excuse for Ken Ofori-Atta to stay. And so you see, that is why I like what the MPP, the 95 MPs did in Parliament. They are slowly getting Ken Ofori-Atta out.
Okay.
They are slow. I mean, they are not rushing at all. They went. They held a press conference.
I think I lost your microphone, so check to see if Dr. Lawrence, check your mic. All right, Ato, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I think we lost Dr. Lawrence there. Ato, you wanted to respond to some of the things you heard him say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am quite disappointed with what he's been saying. I mean, I know that things are not going well for the country. But to use words like if the president was rational, that is not befitting of someone who's trying to lead the NDC in the DC or Washington area. Also, we know these days some of these MPs are going to court suing people for whatever they are saying.
Right.
So if he's saying the Akufo-Addo and his cousin are stealing money, that's a serious allegation.
He's back. He's talking, but he knows. I don't know if he knows we cannot hear him. Doc, unmute your mic. Dr. Lawrence, can you unmute your mic? Your mic is mute. We cannot hear you. We can't hear you. Okay. I'm going to give him a call, but Dr. Ato, keep up. Keep up.
So what I'm saying is, I mean, he has to be really tempered and measured in whatever he says.
Right.
Because, like I said, he is aspiring for a position in the NDC, a place like Washington, D.C., which has really honorable people. And he was the one who was accusing other people of not doing their job. But then everyone will want the leaders to be tempered and measured. You cannot come on a platform like this. People are watching in Ghana everywhere and make accusations against the president like that. Like I said, Alfred, you may be invited to court in Ghana when some of these things go on. I don't think it's right for anybody to come this platform makes such accusations. Like I said, we all admit that the country is not going well, or economics is not going well. But then, I mean, there's only one Ghana we have. We have to be tempered and measured in what we say. And if we have any proof of people stealing in Ghana, we should come up and say.
I'm sorry. I made a very strong points, but you were not hearing me. I'm sorry about that.
We didn't hear you at all. But Dr. Atto
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Dr. Atto was responding to some of your things. So wait for him. Hear what he has to say. He's taking some of your points apart. Wait for what he says, and then you can come in again, Dr. Lawrence. So
I was saying that I was really disappointed.
Now I can also Lawrence hear you.
One, he first accused the president of stealing, which is very unfortunate. You cannot just make some of these accusations online. Like I said, Sami Jammeh was dragged to court for whatever he said about Napo. Now he has to pay so much money. And when push goes to shove, Alfred, you may be invited to speak about this if you were in Ghana. So, like as somebody who is aspiring to be a leader of NDC in places like Washington, he has to be tempered and measured whatever he says, because it goes a long way to affect. And then you have opponents who come back and say, "Oh, Mr. Lawrence, it's some of his comments are not tempered and measured." So going forward, I accuse all of us. Things are not going well, but we have to be tempered and measured what we say on this platform.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So, the issue is, I mean, when you make this accusation of stealing, and especially without no evidence, I personally don't endorse that. Let me see if he's Dr. Lawrence. Can you hear us now? Nope. Okay, he can't hear. All right. Lifetime Legacy. Are you still with us? Okay. Lifetime, you are on mute as well. Yeah, Lifetime.
I am surprised of Dr. Atto's claim that Mahama is having power, and the very thing he's mentioning, he didn't do anything about it. Dr. Atto, for the purpose of record, Mahama under Fourth Republic was the only person who tried to revive the Commander Sugar Factory. If he did not intend to do anything about the structures of the economy, I'm not sure he will go back to revive that particular factory. So please, I'll be very happy if you get your fight very right. Or if probably, like my brother Paul, who was to be here, you know the answer probably he would have to say. So it is not true that Mahama did not do anything about the structure of the economy when he was in office. So that is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is that he knows that we spend so much in importing fish. So what did he do? He tried to solve the post-harvest losses of fish in Elmina by providing or building Elmina fish processing plants, which I work on that facility as a mechanical technician engineer. So that is an aspect of it. Thirdly, Ghana started refining its crude oil in Tema honorary refinery before NDC exited power. So it is not true that he was not doing anything about the structure of the economy. So please, I want you to get this facts right. Other than that, you say it somewhere, and some of these facts will point out to you. I'm not sure you are saying it to give my brothers in MPP, the Kojo and Daniel, the hope that they are doing well. If that is the situation, that can be forgiven. But the reality must be stated as it is. So, like I haven't mentioned all this, Mahama did not speak out of or in a vacuum. He provided alternative. And as one thing, I was also happy that they are closely looking at the data of the current administration by monitoring our debt level and know what year is going to take us to service those debts, and what we can do when we come into power to make sure we don't find ourselves in this current situation. So I think for me, Dr. Atto should be applauding the NDC that even in opposition, we have what it takes to provide solution, not just a solution. Unless Dr. Atto will say that all the things mentioned by Mahama are not a good solution that can take us of the situation we have found ourselves currently. If he's able to say that the things NDC have mentioned, it is not adequate solution enough that can take us of the problem, then I will be able to agree with him. But if the things NDC mentioned,
are you saying you agree that the solutions proffered by the former presidents were inadequate?
I am not saying so. I am saying that unless Dr. Atu is saying that the things mentioned by ex-president Mahama, the president in waiting, when those things are implemented, cannot be the solution. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Yeah, unless he says that those things that you agree with him, right? Not solve the problem. Unless he says that the things mentioned by and the waiting president, when those things are implemented, the problem we found ourselves in will not be resolved. Okay, unless Dr. Atu's argument is that. Other than that, he should rather be applauding the NDC for coming out with alternative, not just a government in waiting, but also have what it takes to come to take Ghanaians out of this situation.
All right. Thank you.
And Dr. Atu should prepare.
If I may react briefly. So I didn't say Mahama didn't say anything. I said he gave me hope.
All right.
I didn't say he didn't say anything. I said he gave me hope. But I responded to what he's done in the past.
Okay. By getting your by responding to what he have done in the past, I think I've mentioned a few things which I think you can attest to that he did those things.
But you make it seem like the NPP is doing nothing about the economy, and the Mahama is only the person who created factories. And no, it's not like that. Then you'll be naive to say that, oh, Mahama did this factory A, B, or C.
Okay. No, I mentioned those specific things in the response of your comment that he has been in government before. What did he do? That was your question, or the import of your question.
Okay, guys, let's move it on. Okay.
So, in answering your question, or what in rebattling your claim, I'm trying to say is that the person was not, when in government, did not only he did a whole lot of things. The very thing he's mentioning today, he started doing some of them when he had the opportunity to do them.
Right. Okay.
That is what I have to mention to you: the Commander Cigar Factory, and also a part of refining our own crude oil at Tamawe Refinery. So you cannot conclude by saying that he did not do anything when he was in office.
All right, awesome. Let's go back to I want to, Kojo, I'm going to come to you, but I want to finish with Dr. Lawrence because he got stuck at some point. Dr. Lawrence, can you hear me now? Okay, so you said you made some points that we didn't get opportunity to actually hear. So I'm offering you that opportunity now to make them again. The question I was asking you is, I mean, we should be worried about the president himself rather than somebody who works for him or somebody who he has delegated authority to formulate financial related policy for us. If those policies are not working, we should be pointing the finger at the supervisor or the man we actually voted for to do these things. If we remove him today, he is going to be, if we remove the Minister of Finance today, it is going to be the president's prerogative, duty, power. Is to choose the next person, and who knows who he's going to go choose? Maybe he might choose his sister, and then what? So the blame should be on the president and not the Minister of Finance. What do you say to that?
Yeah, and I think I said it earlier. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. We can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying what happened. Ghanaians want what happened in UK to replicate itself in Ghana.
Right.
And what happened in UK was that they were looking for the head of the prime minister, but before they get to the head of the prime minister, they wanted to cut off one of her legs. And one of her legs was her finance minister. So once they succeeded in cutting off the finance minister, getting to the prime minister became easier and quicker. And you can bear with me that when the finance minister resigned, or when they kicked out the finance minister, the prime minister wasn't there for even more than 1 month. Do you
Right.
understand? And
Right.
that is what Ghanaians want to happen in Ghana. They want to kick out the finance minister, and once the finance minister is gone, the president will not be there for more than 40 days.
Okay.
And this is why I define as a quick, slowly, this is how I define as a slowly but painful exit for the president.
Right.
You and I would agree with me that when the finance minister was sacked in Britain, the prime minister was slowly and painfully exiting the scene.
Right.
I mean, she basically, as soon as the finance minister left, she started writing her handing over notes. And that is what we want to happen in Ghana.
Well, the dynamics
want to first
between Britain and Ghana anyway, but I take your point. I don't want to belay that point. You said that multiple times already. Is there anything additional that you want to add to that?
No. What is actually the case is that we right now Ghanaians want the president to go, and that is why wherever he goes, he's being hooted at. Right. But before he goes, we want to give him a slow but painful exit by first kicking out the finance minister. And once the finance minister is gone, we go after the president. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's do last words and then bring the program to an end. I'm gonna go from the could you I don't know if you
I have a lot of rebuttals. If you ask me to do a last word, I don't know how.
Do the rebuttals and then kick off the last words first, so we can wrap it up.
Let me say this, right?
Right.
You see, the way we do our politics in Ghana is so bad, and I'm not just saying it because the parent just said a lot of things against His Excellency the President and then the Minister of Finance about so-called stealing without producing any evidence, right? I think we did the same thing to the NDC, and this thing has been going on since the Fourth Republic.
Okay.
It's about time we all have to stop this thing, because once the table turns and people are being accused of things that we don't have any evidence to, and they will say, oh, why are you destroying my name, my reputation? But we always forget that the table will always turn one day. You understand? So we should desist from this. And this is a country that we all love. Right. We just have a different direction as to how the country should be going. All right. So what my friend Tete always said, politics is like sales. You are selling. So if you are able to be a good salesperson and bring your policies and programs, and again, and the people accept. It has never been anywhere, unless maybe in Russia or China, where there's a vote where you have 100% of the vote. Nowhere, right? Majority always carries the vote. And once those majority carries the vote, what do they bring? Then you have to allow that majority to bring their program and then whatever it is to them. If it's not good, the same Ghanaian people are able to put that very party out of power. Let me say this concerning Commander Sugar Factory, my brother, lifetime legacy. Listen, yes, the fact that you have a good intention of doing something doesn't mean it has any good effect on the people. Yes, you are trying to revive a factory which has not been working for decades. First of all, you need raw materials to do that, right? And you are not able to even have that materials available and then you build a factory, and then you go on to buy sugar from Mokola to produce. So it's my brother lifetime.
I don't want to reduce this conversation to Commander Sugar Factory. I think the question on the floor really is, why don't we blame the president? I mean, rather than worrying about what do you call him?
The finance minister.
Minister of Finance.
So the fact of the matter is, right? Yes, if this call that my MPs are calling. I can't say I disagree or agree onto it. But if this thing has been called or pronounced before the negotiations of the IMF deal, I think that would make sense. So in the wisdom of the president, say, okay, yes, you brought your grievances to me. Sometimes I have my way. Today I don't have my way. But just listen to me and hear me out. This is what I want to do. The gentleman and the groom, it's not only him. It's like you're in the middle, like let's say you're a child or somebody is in the middle of doing an exam and you have a tutor that is tutoring that kid. And then like 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to the exam, you say, I don't want, or I'm changing you from your school to other school. You know, it disrupts everything. So 3 weeks, in account, we have something that we call right? So 3 weeks is enough. So let's wait that 3 weeks. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm not asking anybody to be quiet. Not saying whatever they want to say.
But the question
for me,
people are saying is that you're not likely to finish the negotiations with the International Monetary Fund in 3 weeks.
But no,
so then what happened then?
The people who are saying that, what are they privy to? They don't have any information to that. The president have told, and this is a thing that is already on some websites, so we know I can even speak to it. That we know there's just the last leg of the negotiation that is going to be ended soon. And then the finance minister was coming to come out. And you see, the fact that IMF negotiation takes months and years, we are in a different predicament at a moment, right? And that is not just the predicament of Ghana, but the predicament of the whole world. So the IMF also knows that this is not any much fault of ours. I won't take some blame. We take some blame in terms of the way we do things in our own country. But at the end of the day, this is a particular thing that we know if we don't do it, we are hurting the country. So it's something that they fast-tracked. Like, we didn't have vaccine. Vaccines, when the COVID came, vaccines were supposed to take like 5-10 years before vaccine, but it was expedited, and this is what is going to happen. So yes, let's wait for that 3 weeks to come, and then we'll see what the president will do from there. By then, I can come on your radio. You know me, I don't hold anything back. I can tell you my peace of mind. But for now, this is how we have to. But let me just conclude and saying this on the Commander Sugar Party. My brother, we should forget about the NDC did anything to curb the sugar importation or rice importation, because even the things that you own started, you are not even to produce sugar, because you opened that, I think it was November, was it November or October, when the 2016, when the NDC went there with cameramen and all these so-called journalists, quote unquote, then they said we are producing sugar. And then after that, everything has done. Are you saying that we came into office when the Commander Sugar Factory was working and then we shut it down? No, that was not the issue. Even under your own presidency, back then, you also said,
hold on, let me finish.
You're even doing evaluation of selling the factory, something that has not produced even an ounce of sugar. But you are even on the process of reselling it to the private sector. So let me conclude by saying this. Yeah, I wish you guys all the best. I don't know, Lifetime Legacy, are you running for any office? I wish Dr. Lawrence all the best. I know he supported me when I was running. I'll do the same. He's a friend of mine. I know him very well. I wish him all the best. And then thank you, Alfred, and for everyone who was able to hear us this evening.
Thank you so much, my brother, and thanks for always giving us a very spirited defense of your party and its policies. Now, let me take Lifetime Legacy on this one, and then, of course, I'll bring Dr. Ato. Dr. Lawrence, I'm going to take you for last because I know you would. I want you to hear everything everybody else has to say, so that if you want to respond, you can, respond properly, and then give me your last word. So let me go to Lifetime Legacy. Lifetime Legacy.
Alfred.
Yeah.
I wish my brother Kojo is here or is doing the listening. You see, his government has been the most laziest government under this Fourth Republic. The current administration, another administration. His kinsman's administration has been the most laziest one. Look.
Why are you saying that?
I'll explain. Commemorative Sugar Factory, Alumina Fish Processing Factory were done at the same pace, at the same time. Okay, I speak with passion with this particular project because I knew the start and the commission stage of that project. You get it? In every, and as a mechanical engineer or somebody with an engineering background. When you put up a project, you have to give at least 90 days commissioning process, where you have to make sure every single facility you install, you have to commission them one after the other until you do the final this thing. So when Mahama came to commission the project, that was the final commission that it has been done. You get it? The commission is different from processing. Now, on the commission stage, you only test to make sure all the calibrations you have done, all the installations you have done, all the parameters you have done, everything is intact. Before you come to the processing stage, Mahama have been able to construct the facility and has reserved money for the plantation of the sugarcane. You have been in office for 6 good years. You could not go back, go to the India Exim Bank to claim the money that had been secured for you.
Lifetime. I don't want this conversation to be about Commander Sugar Factory.
No, I am. You see, it's one of the problems. Our people are quick
because we've done this Commander Sugar Factory before, and the questions that we were able to answer were still lingering because, the current administration tells you that if you had the money as the Indian, why didn't you get it before you leave? You know what I'm saying? Besides that, I mean, you cannot convince people that
Alfred.
You see, you plan.
If I am speaking,
let me finish. So you can come in. You can convince people that you would, commission a factory before you think about planting the raw. That
is not what I said.
But that's
not what I said.
You're saying that there's a
if
commission.
If you know the enclaves
from somewhere, but again,
if you know the enclaves of where the facility was situated, all the way to Intraban. Okay, if you know that enclave very well, it is an area where sugarcane plantation is already there, but not in a large scale. It's used for brewing of alcohol and that kind of thing.
Again, we've had this conversation. We have a whole show on Commander Sugar Factory.
In conclusion on this particular thing, our friends, the lazy MPP government, should stop saying that Mahama constructed the facility before thinking about the material for the distance.
That's true.
Money have been secured for them. 6 years, they are still complaining. If they know they cannot control or handle the country, they should ask it so that the competent ones comes and rule.
Okay.
And stop giving us excuses upon excuses.
All right. If you can't control or rule the country appropriately, then just stick about so we can bring in the competent ones, right? All right. On that note, let me bring in Dr. Atto. Dr. Atto, I know you want to hit on the sugar factory, but don't make it about sugar factory.
Oh, I will not, because I know he gets really incensed when we talk about sugar factory. I don't know.
He's a sugar.
I don't know if he put his last money in that because it's not the first time, like you said, you discussed this over and over again, and he gets really wild up about this.
Right.
My last comment.
I knew what went into that project, and I'm not speaking from hearsay.
Right.
Okay. So when people who for a reason don't have insight of what actually the whole thing is, sit on radio or a platform like this to rubbish the entire investment and vision that went into that, it's very, very disheartening.
Right. Okay.
So for my last words, first of all, I'd like to commend our MPs, the MPP caucus, the caucus in Parliament, for the first time in our history coming up against the president with a proposal or suggestion about this. I mean, we've never seen this happen. It means that our democracy is growing, gradually growing. I mean, that we shouldn't forget that the man serves at the pleasure of the president, who happens to be a cousin. So we're talking about this is a textbook definition of nepotism.
Nepotism,
where you have your own friend or family member who does do something that you know is not right. But
that was the very thing he promised against.
Yes. So we should just bear in mind things are not going well.
Can we trust a man who promised that he's not going to run? Can we trust a man who says he's not going to run a friends and family administration, just turn around and did that? Can we trust that man to say, in 3 weeks, I'm going to fire my cousin?
Like I told you, he didn't fire Jemamanu with all he did. So do you think he will fire someone who's a bankroller of his campaign? It's not going to happen.
Right.
Let me end by saying I also wish Dr. Lawrence the very best in the upcoming elections for the NDC. But I wish that going forward he will be very measured and tempered in whatever he says, because if he's going to be a leader of such a position, he cannot make wild allegations about the president. He has to. He's already, like I said, he's an academician. So I wish that he wins the elections and then keep the NDC in. It helps grow our economy, and it helps grow the way we understand party politics. And also, I wish all of us well in the coming weeks. We are bracing for winter. So God bless all of us, and God bless our homeland Ghana.
And may God bless you too. Thanks for those kind words. And I know Dr. Lawrence appreciates that. Dr. Lawrence, the issue here, or what's on the note on which Dr. Ato concluded there, some of the things I think, of course, you are going to be a chairman, so I would also add to, the things he said, that the NDC is a big party, and so we have to be careful of some of the things you say, or we can't just make a blanket statement that somebody's stealing, especially without having any evidence of such, So I wish you well as well, and I know you're going to do fantastic. What are your last words for today's show?
Yeah, Alfred, thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you, Dr. Ato, for your kind words, and everybody. Lifetime Legacy, thank you for coming. And then my friend Kwadwo DC, as for Kwadwo DC, I talk to him almost every other day. So we are in close contact. I invited him to the the Virginia cookout picnic, and NDC, Virginia NDC picnic, and he also invited me to the NPP Washington Metro picnic. So we are in good hands of each other. Right. Now, so back to the question of Ken Ofori-Atta and Nana Akufo-Addo. I want us to look at it that, let's say Nana Akufo-Addo does not sack Ken Ofori-Atta. What happens? If
bad
Nana
policy
does not sack Ken Ofori-Atta, what happens?
It looks like you got your next topic.
So you see, Nana Akufo-Addo would only listen to me, Alfred and the people who are listening to me. Nana Akufo-Addo would only keep Ken Ofori-Atta there if he knows the MPP is gone forever.
Right.
Because Nana Akufo-Addo would wish that he and Ken Ofori-Atta will exit together. He doesn't want Ken Ofori-Atta to go before him, and he doesn't want to go before Ken Ofori-Atta. He wished that the two will go together. So the only time Nana Akufo-Addo will keep Ken Ofori-Atta there is that he knows the MPP is going forever. And Osei Mensah Bonsu, the majority group leader in parliament, he has already said that, or he has already prophesied, or he has already predicted that if MPP loses the 2024 elections, it will take them 12 years for them to come back. And Nana Akufo-Addo knows this. He knows that if MPP goes out of power, it will take them 12 years to come back. And that is why he would continue to keep Ken Ofori-Atta there. So for me, Dr. Lawrence, I would wish that Nana Akufo-Addo will not listen to the voices of wisdom. He will not listen to the former president. He will not listen to the MPP MPs. The censorship thing will come in, but I think at the end of the day, it will still, even though the parliament will censure the what do you call it, the finance minister to go, it will still be left with the president to either sack him or he will resign. So I hope it gets to the point where the president will come up again and give another reason why Ken Ofori-Atta should stay in power. And if that happens, he would have brought together the anger of the people of Ghana to a certain point that as soon as he hands over on January 7, 2025, he will be ready to go to the airport and fly to the United Kingdom.
Right.
That is the only abode, that is the only safe haven that he can go after he hands over. Because Ghanaians are so boiled up, Alfred. Ghanaians are so boiled up to see Ken Ofori-Atta still being the finance minister. Ghanaians are boiled up. And let me tell you one story and then I'll end with it. There was a certain president in Africa. What happened was that he was going to the office one morning, and on his way to the office, he saw some women lying on the floor in a very big hospital, and they were all pregnant women. So to his amazement, he didn't see why pregnant women would be lying on the floor in a major hospital like that. Because the information he's getting from the Ministry of Health is that everything is going on well in the health sector. So the president got down from his car, walked to the hospital, and called the administrator to come down and see him. The administrator came down, and the president asked the administrators why the pregnant women were lying down. And the administrator told him that they have a machine that should do their MIR, but the machine has broken down. And the president said, "Oh, so the machine has broken down, and you haven't told the minister of health, or you haven't told me or anybody." So the president got back into his car, rode to his office, and made the announcement that the administrator should leave the premises of that hospital immediately. And he appointed the deputy administrator to take over the running of the hospital immediately, and told the administrator that he's giving him 2 weeks to get that MIR machine fixed and all the pregnant women on lying down to get their screening and go back home. Alfred, within 1 week, the deputy administrator who had taken over got the machine fixed, got all the women lying down screened, and got them home. So you see that it wasn't about competence.
Is this
got the machine fixed?
Now story, or this is reality?
It's a reality.
Okay,
it's not a story. It's a real thing that happened. I think it's in Kenya or Tanzania.
Okay.
Or Malawi, one of these three countries, Kenya or Malawi or Tanzania.
Okay.
It's a true story. So it wasn't about
it's Tanzania. It's Tanzania, Dr. Wallace.
Tanzania, okay.
Tanzania, okay.
So Alfred, it's a true story.
Okay.
So the question wasn't about competence of the deputy administrator or the administrator. It was that the hospital needed a new face. Do you understand? The old face of the administrator was not helping the hospital. As soon as that administrator was fired and the deputy took over a new face, the hospital got a turnaround. So all that we are saying as Ghanaians is that the Ministry of Finance need a new face. Ken Ofori-Atta has been there for 6 years. The old face of Ken Ofori-Atta is not helping the Ministry of Finance. Any of his deputies can take over. Anybody in there. So Nana Akufo-Addo is trying to tell us that of the 6 million MPP people in Ghana, nobody can head the Ministry of Finance, but only Ken Ofori-Atta. Is he trying to tell us that? Is that his reasoning? So, Alfred, all that we are saying is that the Ministry of Finance need a new face. to change things around. Ken Ofori-Atta has done his best, but his best has not been good enough. We need to change him. As soon as we change him, we will bring the fire on the president to resign, because the presidency also needs a new face. And once the presidency has a new face, the finance minister has a new face, NDC is coming to power in 2025, and Ghana would be a better place to live. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I also know that you have a program tomorrow in DC. Do you want to use the platform to announce what it is you're doing, and then also talk briefly about your campaign? Let's do that in some 2 minutes and then wrap up.
2 minutes is even too much. As a part of my campaign and my strategy to win the chairmanship position of the NDC Washington Metro branch, I'm holding a Zoom meeting tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I don't know who are listening to me. If they want a link to the Zoom meeting, it's on the Washington Metro platform. And if they privately call me, I can send them the link. I am holding a Zoom meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. around the same time tomorrow. I'll be having that Zoom meeting. I want to talk to my NDC people in the Washington Metro area to tell them my vision, my objectives, and my plans for the Washington Metro for the next 4 years. I don't know now, but it's likely after 4 years I might not run again. I would have built the Washington Metro to a level where they wouldn't need to be their chairman again. I will groom somebody who wants to be the chairman, will learn from me, and after 4 years, the person will take over from me and run with what I have already brought up with the Washington Metro. So 4 o'clock tomorrow around this time, I'm having a Zoom meeting with my friends and my loved ones in the Washington Metro, NDC Washington Metro, for them to come and see what I have for them as the branch chairman for the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thanks for coming to the show today. Today has been great. We had the opportunity to speak to Godwin Ako Gunn, who is the Deputy Communication Officer of NDC. The person you just heard from is Dr. Lawrence, who has been a regular panelist for us. We are grateful to always have him. He is running for the chairmanship position of NDC Washington DC chapter. We also had opportunity to speak to Kojo DC, who is the organizer of NPP in the Washington metro area. Lifetime Legacy speaks for NDC, and also Dr. Ato Kwaminada, who is a neutral and is also a regular panelist. Thanks for joining the show today. Today we had some very fantastic conversations about the issues bothering our country. Spoke about, the fact that there's a demand from the majority in Parliament to get rid of the Minister of Finance, and there is also a petition on a motion currently in Parliament by the minority to censor him. And we wanted to understand whether the blame should rather be on the president and the focus should be on the president rather than the Minister of Finance. We also talked about the former President John Dramani Mahama's media encounter, where he discussed building a better Ghana, and our interest there was, whether we had things that gave us comfort. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu. For this Saturday, it's the Ghana Agenda. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Thank you. Please share the link.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status.